Hey folks, it's Sunday morning, the 31st of March, and I'm up early. I mixed up the time zones. I'm supposed to be on Mike Watt from Pedro's show today, and I get the time zones mixed up. That New York is behind me or ahead of me and the West Coast. Anyway, I thought I was supposed to be up at 8 o'clock to do his 10 o'clock. But his 10 o'clock actually is my noon. So, I'm up early. Cheers. Looks like a lot of folks enjoyed the conversation with David Hawes of Catherine Wheel yesterday. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. It was a lovely conversation. What a nice guy. And look in the comments. He is responding in the comments to people. So I got a hold of him, Dave, last night, thanking him again and asking, would he come on again? And people are asking questions, and we could take on some of those questions. And seeing how much of a music fan he is, there's lots more that I can ask. And he said, sure. So I told him, just to be nice about it, I'd wait a month. He said, whatever. So about this time in April, or maybe I'll just wait a week or two. Again, I like to be spontaneous about some things. I'll wait a week or so, and then I'll contact him, say, you ready to get back on, and then I'll have him on again. It was a revelation to me. I did not know that he was let go of Catherine Wheel. Again, I can only assume, since I'm not part of his world, I assumed that he met someone and fell in love and left the band. That's what I assumed. To hear that they let him go was really sad. Not everyone who likes music understands the importance of the engine of the music. The foundation of the music is absolutely essential. So when it's a cappella, everything is totally on the voice. When it's single instrument accompaniment, the accompaniment is the foundation. When you have a band, your rhythm section becomes truly the bedrock, the drums and the bass. Very important. When those aspects of a band change, everything else is affected. I know this as a bass player. The new David Nance Mode Sound album, I'm glad to hear people give me the feedback that they can hear how my bass makes a difference in Dave, what he's doing. So it was lovely to talk to Dave yesterday and trade notes about stuff. And it was cool to hear how much of a fan of House of Love he is. And that's when I saw them, when they were on tour with them. So today is Easter. I'm not religious. So if you celebrate Easter, you go on ahead. At this time, with an Antichrist figure, namely Donald Trump, running amok, isn't that rather interesting times? And isn't it rather interesting that we're actually in something that was predicted by the Bible, and while it's happening, people who supposedly follow the Bible can't even see it? Stuck on some kind of fantasy about, probably some fantasy about what they think it would look like. Just like, I'm gonna rant for a minute, just like a lot of, how would Christians know that Jesus is back in this world? How would you know? He could be here right now, probably is, there's probably a lot of Jesus people here right now. But the world is so mad, how would we know? How all of a sudden, with all this division, is one person going to come along and all of a sudden everybody recognizes, oh, he's the one. That's why I call Trump the Antichrist. That's what's going on. And I'm not even into the Bible anymore. I studied the shit out of that book. I sure did. So, music. Friday, I did go to the record store and get a couple of records. So I'll get to those, but I got a pile of records here that I've been playing music and enjoying my days. So here's what's in the pile before I put everything away. Deerhoof. It was time for some Deerhoof. The Runners 4. I follow Greg Saunier and Deerhoof on Instagram. And Greg is way upset about the situation with Israel and Palestine and is talking about it constantly. And my heart goes out to him because I hate how the Democrats appear to be warmongers. I don't approve of it at all. But Trump would be so much worse. Played this one side all the way through. Milkman, Deerhoof. This is an extraordinary band. This is the yellow vinyl version. They can go from punk to prog to classical all on one record, and they do it on this one. Greg Saunier is a composer. These guys are deep, and I've seen him a couple times, met him, chit-chatted with Greg about a few things. I love doing that. This is out. I hadn't gotten to it yet. It's another of my Deerhoof. The Man, the King, the Girl. Hopefully we'll get to this today. This is out because a while back I was contacted by someone who said they used to be in the band Liquid Liquid, expressing interest in being interviewed. I didn't respond. I think I might have had a Liquid Liquid record once, sold it. This Fist of Facts, I can't remember what it sounds like, but I pulled it to play. But that comes to mind. That person contacted me. I didn't respond to them, mainly because it's like I didn't remember what the band sounded like. This is again pulled because I watched Bill Camerata. I do watch some other VC members. He has a Locked Groove video where he's talking about locked grooves. I'd forgotten about the locked grooves on this, King Crimson USA. So really that's all I did was to play it to check, do I have the version with the locked groove at the end and where the audience is on the run-in groove, and this is. So I went down to Homer's Friday and got a couple of new records, and sorry about that. One of them was the finally on vinyl edition of Kraftwelt's Electric Dimension. This is a couple of musician DJs who in 1996 made this as a homage, or it's dedicated to Ralph and Florian. And it's pretty good. It's definitely not Kraftwerk, they're messy. That's a beautiful red. And it's a see-through. It's kind of marbly. It's not it's not totally solid. So this is not anything that's messing with Kraftwerk as far as being that good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But when I saw the cover in the new music update, I just Kraftwerk are my dudes. I'm going to get this. What the heck? And it's not bad. It's not bad. Since I've been playing it so much, I'll show it again. Broadcast with the focus group. This is way cool. Really like this a lot. Very trippy. Very trippy. Okay. So again, some BC talk. Dereck Fisher, who is into psych and records from the past. He does weekend themes on his in his group on Facebook, and this weekend it was mono. Psychedelic records that are in mono. So here's one that I had pulled to show, and then I played it. This is fantastic if you don't know this. The Red Crayola with the familiar Ugly. Mayo Thompson, another one of the Texas bands like 13th Floor Elevators that were way ahead of the curve. As I was listening to this, the freeform freakout that is in between the tracks brought to mind this is the sort of thing that likely inspired Zev. I recently showed a Zev record where the guy who would play industrial waste and garbage cans and stuff, that's what he sounds like. They were doing this back in the 60s on this album. The Maelstrom. Yes, Bill. That's the right word. They're doing it on here. This album is truly, truly psychedelic. Way ahead of the curve. Very good. Parable of Arable Land. Another one that I pulled to participate in the mono is this reissue of The Pretty Things, Electric Banana, where they did, with the Reg Tilsley Orchestra, they did an album of library music. I'm not sure what these tracks were used for, but that was the original purpose. This was not a commercial release originally. This is really good though. Electric Banana, it's in mono. It's in mono. It reminds me to say before I forget, yes, just like it's been said by folks in the know that the Rolling Stones were trying to sound like the Pretty Things. That the Pretty Things were in fact a superior band musically to the Stones. I absolutely, totally agree. And I also want to piggyback on that for me personally, sorry about the color, Catherine Wheel are head and shoulders musically above a lot of the bands that people consider the greatest, like the Rolling Stones. To me, there's no comparison between the Rolling Stones' music and Catherine Wheel. Catherine Wheel are so superior. And when it comes to some of the other legacy bands, like from England, I totally respect the Who, understand their place in history, but to me, the Catherine Wheel are so much better. And if me saying that triggers you, go and listen to Catherine Wheel and let me know what you think. That band was amazing. Okay, this is another recent purchase. I'm playing it because I don't want to just put it away without really absorbing it. Jlin, A Coma. This is really cool. They call it footwork, and I understand why they call it footwork because of the way that people dance to match these rhythms. But it's a great listen. And the way that she incorporates the Bjork and Philip Glass samples on here is brilliant. This is something that will not be getting a whole lot of attention, but deserves it. Jlin, however you say her name. She's badass. This is really good. Let's keep going. Got into some Stereolab. I love this band. Mars Audiac Quintet. Love this band. That's all I got to say about it. And even though you always know it's Stereolab because of the way that they sound, they have a sound. They don't repeat themselves to me. I love this sound. I love what they do. Really good album. So, here's one of the other 3 records that I bought on Friday. New release. Thumbs up to this one too. Happy to say I was glad to see that Homer's got it in. I didn't know if they would or not. I guess it's because of who he is, but I'm glad they did. This is the new Ono Lennon album. Asterisms on John Zorn's label, Zadok. Now, when I was reading about this before the release, all of that intrigued me and interested me. You know, I know that Sean is a New York guy, and so is Zorn, and then so there's those connections. And then the Stone, Zorn's club, where apparently Sean had done a residency or something. Anyway, when I found out about this and saw the cover art, I was intrigued. I thought to myself, this looks potentially good. I have Sean Lennon records. The nasally tone of his voice bothers me, so I don't listen too much. This is instrumental. This is really good. What he primarily does on here is guitar, and surprisingly is tasty and good. It tells a story on the inside how he was pushed and encouraged by Nels Cline to go ahead and play guitar on the record rather than looking for a lead guitarist like he was originally, thinking that he couldn't hold it down. This is quite good. It's spacey and jazzy, and it's good. It's nothing complex, but it's like, yeah, this is real listenable. This is real good. Asterisms, Sean Ono Lennon's new album. Happy to say it's good. I continue to do pulls, and I'm glad that I'm doing it because it's like, it's time to do it. Otherwise, there's so many records that will sit on the shelves that I'll never play them. I put some records away, but I kept these out. National Health. This was a pull. Hadn't played it forever. It's a great album. Love this album. This is the album where I got the idea. Maybe it was Hatfield in the North, where there's a little note, a little like emoji on the back. Healthy music. Healthy music. The note there. I love the idea of music that is healthy, good for you, that can make you smarter even. And this is an example. You all know if you know this music, you know the background. Canterbury, going back to Egg, Con, Hatfield in the North. Great album. This was a pull, and this was a happy revelation. This is Roy Montgomery Audio Therapy, put out by the label that is co-run by Simon Joyner here in Omaha. Grapefruit. This guy, I believe, is from Australia, guitarist. Isn't that a beautiful cover? And it's that fat tip-on jacket. I love that. This is really good. And one side in particular really hit me hard. Really hit me. I didn't look at the titles, but one side they start with a song where they're singing, and that was the one. Had to play it like 3 times. It was like, this is good. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it. Roy Montgomery Audio Therapy, and beautifully presented by Grapefruit. I'd love to have a release on Grapefruit, but I don't expect anything. There's the possibility sometime that Simon and I will collaborate, but if it happens, I'd love it, but if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it's in the cards. Could happen. Here's another pull. I almost put it back, but I said, no, I pulled it. Let me play it. I don't generally play my picture disc, but I went ahead and played this. Bill Nelson. This is a 12-inch single, remixes of the song he did with Yukihiro Takahashi, Acceleration. Sounds a bit dated, but I just loved the sound, and I love when it came out. That Japanese electronic, YMO was extraordinary. And then Bill Nelson showed how, I can do that. I can do it just like you guys, and I can do it good. This is good. Enjoyed it. Like I said, a bit dated. Another pull. This is one. Last time I played it, it just left me cold. This time it was like, oh yeah, okay. Urszula Dudziak, Michael Urbanek's wife for a while, if not still. Newborn Light. Now, this is not the first album I heard by her. The first one I heard by her was the one Urszula on Arista, real jazz rocky. This is more, sounds like improvisational, a lot of vocal. It's about the voice. Not like Meredith Monk or Diamant de Galas, but in that vein where the focus is on the voice as an instrument. And it's good. It's I didn't look at the titles. Dear Christopher Comita is side one's number one. Totally fits. That was a pleasant surprise. So this is the other new record that I bought Friday. Real happy I got it. The new Ride Interplay. Once again, look at that artwork. These guys know the artwork is important. This is real good. You know what really surprised me about this new album? The lyrics. And you know what I'm always talking about? No, I don't care about the words. See, it's just general. This really surprised me. These aren't songs about relationships. When I met them back in the 90s, Mark Gardner went out of his way to welcome me. And it's like I picked up on his vibe, and it's here in the lyrics. He's talking about the inner life. He's talking several songs on here about trying to wake up, trying to be a better human. This is really good, and it's musically and sonically very strong. I'll show it. I got the blue vinyl. Really like this. I love the way it starts with peace sign. Yeah, that's the right track. That's the message we need. Throw up your damn peace sign. All of this manufactured division and war. You know, it occurred to me that because of technology, we're in a world war and we don't even realize it. We're in a cyber war already, a war of the mind, with all of the misinformation and disinformation going about, and a lot of it being paid for and on purpose, and the results that we're dealing with all of the madness worldwide. The new Ride album touches on that. Before I forget, I saw where online someone said they compared this to recent Tears for Fears. Bullshit. Now, I like Tears for Fears. I don't hear nothing about like Tears for Fears on this album anywhere. If anything, there's a track on here that reminds me heavily of Old New Order. And there's another track on here. I'd have to look it up to see what the lyrics tell it. But there's a song on here that sounds like Icky Blossoms. My dudes here from Omaha. It sounds like a companion song to their song Starkweather, about the Charles Starkweather, the murderer. It really sounds like that, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised to find out that they'd actually heard the song and were inspired by it. And again, likely not, but it sure is similar to it. Okay, we're at the 23-minute mark, and I don't like to go too long, you know, so I'll stop there. There's more records here. If you haven't watched the David Hawes interview, check it out. It was a very wonderful visit, and I agree with the person who said that they thought that the timing of the cat was related to him feeling a difficult question. Probably is true. You know, animals are like that. When that part of the discussion came up, I had no idea that he, you know, again, that David was let go of the band. That surprised me. It's like, what? That was a mistake. Sure was. Okay, folks. If you celebrate Easter, celebrate well. If you don't, just have a great day.